Hi, lovelies. Welcome to Managing My Money with Rosa. Today, we are going to do something new. As we moved into 2025, I decided to change things up a little bit. In 2024, we were fortunate enough to the end of the year, we paid off all of our debt except for the house. So now we are starting back a couple of things that I was doing before we went with a gazelle-like intensity to pay off our debt. And one of those things is Transfer Thursday. If you're new here, my name is Rosa. My channel is all about my personal budgeting journey. It is about savings challenges, cash envelopes, sinking funds, how we stash our money, where we stash our money, why we stash our money. It is also going to be about our investing journey as well. If any of that is of interest to you and you have not already, I'd really appreciate if you push subscribe down below. If you are a subscriber, thank you so much for coming back and spending a little bit more of your time with me. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. Everyone, please take a second, smash that thumbs up button. All right, so I have a little bit of background before we get into this. I have been interested in the stock market since basically 8th grade. We did a project in junior high and it was about trading stocks and I fell in love with it. Well, that was in the 80s and trading was not as easy as it is now, was not that way then. And then time happened. Didn't have the funds. We were busy raising a family, little kids and everything. And investing just never really was a thing. Fast forward to 2020 when everybody went home, I kind of really had not much to do at home. I was a teacher, we were teaching from home, but I still had a whole lot of spare time. So I really started looking into investing and came to realize that there are a ton of free resources and resources that no longer charge you for trade fees. So I really began to look into it. Now, I do want to stop and say that I am not a financial advisor. Everything I do in my investing portfolio are things that I have researched, looked into, and determined that's where I want to be. I do take suggestions, I look at them, and then I determine, is that really something I am interested in? Sometimes the answer is no, sometimes the answer is yes. It just totally depends. For about a year year and a half, when I started my YouTube channel, I was doing a dividend update every week. And I would talk to you about what I was earning every week on my dividends. Because again, when 2020, when it happened, I began to invest intentionally. Most of it was just trying to play ups and downs. We did okay, we didn't do okay. It just totally depended. And then I fell into an Apple stock and was like, ooh, it paid me dividends. Now, it paid me pennies on the dollar, literally. I was not impressed in any way, shape, or form with that, but it sent me down a different spiral of looking into stocks that were dividends. Instead of playing bounces, I'm looking more at dividends instead. I do have a couple of stocks that I do play around with. I watch them, I monitor them, I have them so that I can scroll and see exactly where they are today. And I do play the ups and the downs in those. Sometimes it's a fast turnaround, sometimes it's a year turnaround. It just totally depends on what's going on. But this Transfer Thursday is really going to be about looking at both my IRA and our dividends and how we are intentionally investing for our future. I would like dividends one day to basically take over my honey's paycheck and then eventually take over my paycheck. As we creep towards retirement, I look and go, what I'm going to get via Social Security really isn't going to be that much. I do have a 401k and a 403b, and they're going to pay me a little bit as well, but is there a way to supplement my income? And for me, that's really my dividends. I've also started an IRA. Now, the IRA I started probably 2 years ago, not 2020, when I started looking at stocks and started playing in all of them, but I did actually open an IRA. Now, I have a Roth IRA. You can have a Roth or a traditional IRA. IRAs are individual retirement accounts. You, depending on your age, determines how much you can put in for the year. Now, this was for 2024, and I get we are now in 2025, but the max that you could put in was $7,000. Because we were on a debt-free journey, I was basically putting $20 a check in here, which is not a lot. So throughout the year, excuse me, that $20 a check really only gave me $400 for $400 in my IRA. That is not adequate for me. And because I know that I can continue to fund my 2024 IRA until April, basically when taxes are due, I'm going to continue putting money into last year's IRA. I will eventually start to put money into 2025, and I did look, and again, the max is going to be $7,000. So last paycheck I got for the year last year, instead of putting the 20 because our taxes or because our debt was finally paid, I added another 50. So we are up to $450 inside of my IRA. I will definitely not make it to $7,000 because right now the goal is to save $10,000 for our 3 to 6 month emergency fund. And you will see that Saturday. I've already made that video, and it'll be out Saturday. I made it right before I did this one. But just this still isn't the priority. We are working on that 3 to 6 month fund, but I will be tracking where I am at in my 2024 IRA. And then once April happens, I will then be tracking my 2025 IRA. So we are at 450. Yay! It's better than nothing. And we're just moving along. So this is part of that intentional investing for the future so that I can have another pot of money to help pay me when I retire. And then we get into my stocks. This is about intentional investing for me. I did a savings challenge on it a couple years back, decided I'm not going to do a challenge, but just trying to make sure that every month, every one of my dividend stocks that I am interested in growing gets at least $5 a month. Now, with Christmas, we had some Christmas money come in. Yay! Christmas money allowed me to purchase additional chunks of some of this. So today you'll see some big chunks, $100 chunks. I think that's the highest. There might be like a $150 chunk. It just depends. But trying to get it so that my my stock can eventually get up to my goal. Now, this goal, I had to recalculate what my goals were for this year. Ultimately, I would like every one of my dividends to drip. That stands for dividend reinvestment plan. I would like everyone to drip at least one full share. And that's what I did is I took the current price. So AAP stands for Advanced Auto Part. Just so happens my honey works for them. And they have a decent dividend and dividend return. It's 25 cents a share. And if I take their current price, which I think is somewhere between $40 and $50 right now, divide that by a quarter, it tells me I need just under 180 shares. I kind of rounded up depending on where the price fluctuates and everything. And that's how I got my goal. Now, moving into 2025, I have 20.123 shares. Advanced Auto Part is one that I will invest in twice a month. It comes out of my honey's check. We put $25 of every one of his checks into Advanced Auto Part stock. We have two real goals for this. Goal one is, of course, for it to earn us a dividend. But goal two, excuse me, honestly, is to flip my Advanced Auto Parts stock. Advanced Auto Parts fluctuates. I have gotten it as low as 30 something dollars, and we've had it as high as $200. So this is one that, excuse me, one that I do play in. But right now, with it only being, I think it's like $48, $45 as of close yesterday. And with that said, that $25 goes in. So I've already put $25 in. I know you can't really see it, but I put in $24.96 and we got just over half a share, 0.532 shares. So yay. I will do something with this on my next dividend, on my next transfer Thursday, because then I will have added that other 25, and we'll talk about that later. Acre is one of those that I did change from just a $5. It ended up with 10 whole shares. I wanted to get it up. I was at 18.241 shares. I decided I wanted to get it as closer to that 35. So now we have 28 shares. Plus we will get a dividend later this month. Now the dividend on this is, or not this month, it is a quarterly payer. So I get paid 4 times a year, but it is currently paying 25 cents a share. So we spent $60.40 and got 10 shares. So it was 640 or 604 when I purchased it. Excuse me. Oh, all right, so there's my acre. AGNC pays me monthly. I was trying to get closer to those 100 shares. We had 74, almost 75, and I bought 10 more. So we spent $92.85, which tells me that each one of these shares was 982, or sorry, 928 or 923. It was one of those, just depends on the moment when we purchased it. And it currently pays 12 cents a share. So this is getting really close to doing the drip where it drips one full share a month. ARCC, the goal is to have 75 eventually. We have almost just over 4.5 shares. I put in $5. I have my investment portfolio is through Fidelity. You can pick lots of different options for who you want to go through, but I wanted a full service brokerage, honestly, is what I wanted. I wanted to be able to pick up the telephone and call and ask for help if I needed help with anything. And there have been a couple of times when I needed to ask a question or two. And because I have Fidelity, it's a free service. So I tell Fidelity I want to spend $5 on a stock. I hit enter, and then it pops out based off what the current price is, asking price, what I bought for, and then it tells me how many shares I got. So although I told it $5, it only picked 498 and I got 0.227. So we're creeping up closer to that $5 or 5 full shares. That's all right. This pays me quarterly and it's 48 cents a share. All right, BWLP. This is totally new for me. I started the year with 0 shares. I would like to have 50 eventually. This actually was a recommendation from my father. They have a 20-something% yield, and I was like, score, I'm loving that number. And then I sat and I did a whole bunch of research, read about it, looked up some information about it, and decided this was something that I wanted to do. Just so happens he had also given me $100 for Christmas money. I was like, score! So I took that $100 and I turned around and I invested it in BWLP. I will see where this goes. I'm not 100% certain if I will really stay in BWLP or whether I will get out. But we now have 8.467 shares, just shy of 8.5 shares. Yay! Cube. I came across Cube totally by accident a while back. I was looking for stocks that pay at least 4% is my goal. Some of these do pay more than 4%. Some of them pay 15, 16, some pay 11, some pay 9. It just totally depends. Cube is around that between 3 and 4%, depending on what the day is. But we started the year with 2 shares. I would like 120 at, I think it's $30, something like that. I don't remember exactly, but Cube is pretty on the high end of putting $5 in really doesn't get me a whole heck of a lot. So for $4.96, we got 0.117 shares, which is not a lot. It'll barely bump up my 2 shares, but that's okay because you know what? We're growing. And to me, that is what is the most important. Last, at the end of 2024, Cube was giving 52 cents a share, and can't beat that. So I'm already earning $1 plus from them. Love it. And it's quarterly. Tells me it only pays me 4 times a year, but that's all right. Duke is an energy company. They I won 120 shares. We started the year with 1.327 shares. They pay $1.05 per share. Duke for me is pretty expensive. It's about $100 a share. Knowing that I had some Christmas money, so I was able to put 5 here, 5 there. I had some extras left over because I didn't invest that. I went ahead and told Fidelity I wanted to put in $10 into Duke. It spit out $9.92 is what I spent, and I got 0.092 shares. Again, Duke is sitting around $100. Duke for me is doing 2 things. One, it is growth. I believe that I am up at least 10%. I want to say more like 20% from the time that I originally purchased Duke. So this is growing in value, but it's also paying me a really good dividend. Now I think it's sitting around but it's that between 3 and 4%. It might be 4 something percent. I don't remember, but I'm okay with it. I'm excited. It's an energy company that I like the look of, so I went ahead and purchased into it. Now it's going to take me forever to get to 120 shares, especially considering it's $100 a share. But you know what? Growth is better than nothing. EPD is also another energy company. I would like 75 shares. We started the year with just under 4 shares. It pays 52 cents a share. Again, I told Fidelity I wanted to spend $4.99, or I told Fidelity I wanted to spend $5. It popped out $4.99, and I bought 0.161 shares, which means we have just over 4 shares. Yay! Again, not a lot, but it's growing. It's that intentionally investing for our future. All right. FAGIX is a Fidelity index. I really am looking at this for long-term growth. When we talk about I am up in some and down in others, this is one that I am up in. It is growing for me, but it also pays a minuscule dividend. That's okay. I'm not too worried about it. I would love to have 100 shares. It does pay monthly. I would love to have 100 shares. I started the year at 12. We put in $105 and bought 10.335 shares. So that'll give me just about 22 and a half almost, not quite 22 and a half shares. So moving. And the last time I got 2 cents per share. That's all right. FDHY is another Fidelity. It's a high yield from Fidelity. I would love to eventually have 200 shares. We started the year at 3.513, so basically 3.5. I told Fidelity I wanted $5 of this, and it popped out $4.97, and we purchased 0.103 shares. It pays 26 cents a share, and it's a monthly payer, so it makes me happy. It means we're growing. FSPTX is again another Fidelity. I love my Fidelity stuff. Again, full brokerage. I can have access to questions help. They have classes you can take, all kinds of great webinars, seminars, everything. I get nothing if you go in and get a Fidelity account. I just love their stuff. So this one is for a long-term growth only. That's it. This pays 0 in dividends, but this is a stock that I do want to grow. So I would love to be at 100. We had just under 2.5 at the beginning of the year. This one, I tell it how much I want to put in, and that's what it buys me. So this one, I told it I wanted $5, and it bought me 0.134 shares, which means we are just over 2.5. So yay, moving. I do own some IBM. IBM is outrageously expensive for me. They pay $1.67 per share. I would love 180. We started the year with just over almost 1.25 shares. IBM is like Duke. It is around $100. So I told it I wanted 10 share, or I wanted to put $10 in. It spent $9.88, and I got 0.045 shares. I actually think IBM might be sitting around 200. I think this is the one that's at 200. I don't remember. I did this the other day and haven't looked again. But IBM is, we're almost probably never going to get to 180. IBM I'm holding for 2 reasons. One, for growth, because it is one of my big growers. And then 2, I kind of like the dividends that come off of it. It's about 3 to 4% as well. Altria, I would love, they pay quarterly. I would love to have 75 shares. We started the year with just over 7, almost 7.25. Told Fidelity I'd like $5. Spent $4.95, and I got 0.095 shares. So I think Mo was sitting around that $50 mark. And they pay $1.02 per share on the last time in December when I got dividends from them. O is probably, if I could invest in just one and get to my 240 shares like now, this O is one of them that I would do that to. But it's expensive for me. It's roughly $50 a share. I don't have that kind of money to invest into $240. It pays a quarter for every share you own. We started the year with 2.329, so just over 3.25 shares. I bought 2 shares total. Again, Christmas money. Yay, love some Christmas money. So we now have and I spent $104.85. So again, it was about $52 and some change for each one of these shares. It's expensive, it pays very well, and it pays every month, which Makes me excited. It means I get a paycheck every month. All right. OBDC, I would love to have 60 shares. We started the year with 5.143. I told Fidelity I wanted $5. It spit out $4.99, and I was able to purchase 0.161 shares. And it pays 37 cents a share. And I believe OBDC is a quarterly. I need to get that on this piece of paper. Shame on me, I missed that. But that's okay. I did not buy any OHI. I did not buy any PFLT. I did not buy any PNNT. I think I have one more that I purchased. No PSEC. Maybe I didn't. I thought I did. No RITM. So I did buy one. No T. I bought Verizon. I bought one more share of Verizon. It was around $40. I would love 100 shares of Verizon. We started the year with 1.5 or 1.258, just over 1.25. I've added one more share. I didn't give it a dollar amount. I told it I wanted to purchase in shares. Fidelity allows you to do either way. You just have to tell it. So I got one share at $39.59. They pay quarterly, and they currently pay 67 cents a share. So love it. And that should be ExxonMobil is my last one. I did not purchase any ExxonMobil. And then I have my blank sheets. And those are all of the stocks that we are going to be intentionally investing. I do have some additional dividend stocks that I don't like one of them. I don't like one of them. If I could get out of it right now, I would. However, I am so upside down in it that we're just going to hang out for a while. But it pays me extremely well. And it's growing. I'm continuing to drip in it. For a while I wasn't, and then I was like, just let it grow. So that's what I'm doing. And then I have a couple more that I'm not interested in growing, really and truly. Again, upside down means that if I sell them, I will lose money, and I'm not interested in losing money right now. So because of that, they're just sitting and dripping, and they're all drip quarterly. So it's what it is. But these are the ones that we are intentionally growing for our future. Some are for resale value. Some are to get a paycheck every month or every quarter. If you have any questions or just want to say hey, I'd love if you drop it in chat, and I hope you have a great day. Bye, guys.